All right, so I'm back again with more Berserk examples. Berserk just seems to fit our current reality so very well. If you see nothing wrong with our current reality, then you are still sleeping. You are still eating milk and cookies from mama. Mama is still wrapping you in her blanket and rocking you to sleep. Your testicles have not yet dropped. Now, I hate to sound this way, but honestly, we ain't got time for no sissies anymore. And why am I speaking this way? Why am I focusing on Berserk as an example? Because honestly, I thought there would be a way. There would be a way to just get over things. To just get over the fact that we're living in a hellhole like Berserk. And this is the whole world at this point. Because it's not just the insanity of living in the jungles of Africa, but it's the whole world. People in the West are experiencing the same thing, particularly young men, right? This is why you have Andrew Tate, right? This is why you have the whole manosphere in general. People are just fed up. Men are just fed up because they don't think there is a future worth investing in for them. They don't believe, we don't believe there's a return of investment in our efforts. So we're all just switching off. We're all becoming less involved. But there are some of us who, despite knowing that the future is not worth the investment, we still cannot accept that this is just how it is now. We're still in this, like, seriously? Some of us still want to fight because there is a physiological reaction that is taking place in some of us. Some of us who have testosterone, right, that has not been completely ruined by the poisoned food yet. Some of us have an automatic physiological reaction to the incoming doom. You can feel it. It's at the back of your mind. It's as when the eclipse happened in Berserk, suddenly everybody felt this uneasiness that the world has changed. There's this uneasiness and evil presence in the air. Suddenly people aren't feeling safe. Suddenly people are a tad scared to go outside. And of course, Griffith uses that to his advantage to create a utopia for people to run to. And the people don't realize that the utopia that Griffith is creating is one gigantic melting pot for a grand sacrifice to open the portal to hell. And that's literally what's happening in reality too. Go figure. So now I have a fight or flight response definition here. It pretty much says it's an automatic physiological reaction to an event that is perceived as stressful or frightening. Now, when I present real information about the real world, a lot of dudes automatically react negatively, right? And they want to fight me on it, or they want to switch off the video. And those who switch off the video, good. You should just move on. Why the heck waste your time in fighting, right? But it does show that you're still a child. You still don't see reality for what it is. And by the time you do, it most likely will be too late. And then there are those who want to fight me. Those who want to deny the things I say. When it's like, bro, are your eyes opened? Are your eyes opened? Because if they are, you would not be saying I'm lying about all these things. This sort of response, I'd say, is triggered by the fact that they don't feel the pressures of this current reality as much as I do. Why? Because they are part of the dysfunction. You see, when there's a world full of darkness, it's easy to get away with a few things. Well, with a lot of things. And so the one who fights me is the one who's saying, hey, you're shining a bright light on this darkness. Stop it. Stop it. Don't shine this light. We want to stay in the darkness because some of you benefit crawling around in the darkness, right? Taking advantage of people, so on and so on, lying, cheating, and stealing. But what about some of us who want the basics? Some of us who want something honorable. Some of us who want what others claim that's the white man lifestyle, right? The whole white picket fence and so on and so on. Now, some of you might say, yeah, well, my grandfather had that and things didn't end very well. man, things can't end very well for everybody. But ultimately, human beings always seek fulfillment. They always seek fulfillment. And having that white picket fence with the family and the dog, right? It was definitely one of the key things humans always strived for. Always. But now we live in a world where nobody's necessarily needed. Well, men are not necessarily needed. And you're constantly told that. You're constantly told that. And some of us, with testosterone, we want to fight back. But each time you grab your sword like guts to strike, you strike a ghost. It's like trying to slash through Griffith and your sword goes right through him, as it happened in the 2 last chapters of the manga. And you're like, what the heck am I supposed to do? You accepted that you're living in a hostile environment and you took your sword to slash away new problems that try to persist. But then the grand problem of it all, your blade cannot reach. So now this is going to be a discussion or just what I'm thinking about as to like, okay, if you can't cut the main problem, what are you supposed to do? What is everybody else doing? Now they say video games, men are addicted to video games. I don't believe there's such a thing as an addiction. Honestly, I don't. There's no such thing as addiction. No such thing as porn addiction, video game addiction. What this really is that the men don't have enough stimulation in their life. And a human being needs stimulation. You do. Otherwise, you will go insane, right? Look at studies on people who are literally bored to complete madness. A human being needs stimulation. So when there's a lack of stimulation in your day, a quick access to it is just to go to booty.com, correct? Another quick access to it, not as quick, is playing a game, right? Playing a game, all these instant gratification escapes. Well, this is why people do it. It's not because they're addicted to it, it's because there's nothing else out there. Others, particularly these older men who want to say, hey, you can still level up, you can still get a new blade, get some new armor and head out there. It's like, bro, this is not 1939, 48, 59. No, it's not. And those who might be in their late 30s, like, pay attention. Do you honestly think that all these guys who are apparently addicted to video games, they actually want to sit all day and play? No. Everybody had a dream. Everybody wanted to do something more than just sit and play all day long. And I don't blame those who do that. The dudes up in Africa who don't have access to video games, they sit and drink all day, smoke all day. And I don't blame them either, because they don't believe there's any future for them. And they're too afraid to kill themselves because they don't know where they're going to end up. And so when we look at Berserk, we see that our main character, Guts, right, was sacrificed. He survived. Every night he has to literally battle demons to stay alive. But what's keeping him going despite living in such a hostile environment? What can we take from Berserk and apply in our lives? Well, I like to look at it from a realistic, practical point of view. Now, at the end of the day, Guts wanted to kill Griffith, and he wanted to save Casca, restore Casca's memory. So he managed to restore Casca's memory, but each time Casca looks at him, she is reminded of all the hell she went through. And so Guts is devastated by that. But another thing keeping him going was to have revenge. And now he sees that it seems rather impossible. He can't even cut through Griffith. It's like cutting a ghost. So what do you do then now? What is everybody else doing? They playing games. They smoking. They just rotting away. What if you don't want to rot away? What then can you do in order to feel like you're actually doing something that is going to have a return of investment? Now, the Japanese have something called the ikigai, which is doing something you're good at until the very day you die. That is a lifestyle that has been in their culture for hundreds of years, if not 1,000 years, right? And so it's not easy for other people, groups of people, to just adopt a lifestyle like that. Literally, you hear about it today and you try to adopt it today. It's not going to sink into your psyche so quickly, so easily, when you've lived most of your life a completely different way. So where is the practicality? See, for those who just want to lollygag and consume media and not actually try to be practical, again, you're already a zombie, man. You're already a child. Your testicles have not dropped. Your testosterone is low. Some of you watch Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate says a whole lot of stuff, and his advice is not practical in reality either. He tells you to get the money. We know how he got his money, by pimping these hoes. Are you gonna go pimp some chicks out? No, you're not, because you probably don't even know how to do it, and you're breaking the law. Some might say, no, you're not breaking the law if it's legal, or you're not breaking the law if they want to be pimped out. Whatever, go ahead, try and be a pimp, right? But that's not what you want to do. He says, get the money, get the hoes. So he's got the money, he's got the hoes. He doesn't seem to be very happy now, is he? Out here joining Islam. I was part of Islam. It's like, bro, your lifestyle in Islam, it does not go hand in hand. You can get 4 wives, sure. You can get sex slaves, sure. But you know you're not going to get a sex slave. And why haven't you gotten 4 wives yet? What's stopping you? Seriously. I don't understand. And then he keeps quoting this new age feminine energy garbage. This Erykah Badu sort of jargon that is just anti-men. Things yoga women would talk about, Andrew Tate retweets that. These things of the chakras and the energies and the whatever. It's like, bro, can you stick to your Quran at least? So we are struggling to even find a role model here in the real world. If Andrew Tate was a role model, clearly he's not now. Clearly he's not. It's like, bro, you're not committed to your Quran. You out here retweeting these yoga hoes, and your advice of getting this money, it's not practical. So we don't have a real world example here. So we look at characters in fiction. Now, I'm not going to go to the religious route, right? I'm just looking at it here the way I'm looking at it here. We have to look at characters in fiction. Guts is the only masculine character left in all of fiction, right? Because they've butchered characters from Lord of the Rings. They've butchered Goku. He looks like a child, an idiot, goofball, retard now. The masculinity has been sucked dry from Dragon Ball, right? So Guts is the only one left. And we see him in the last chapter absolutely devastated that not only was he able to at least accomplish restoring Casca's memory, but Casca has been kidnapped by the very man he can't kill and has been trying to kill ever since. In our case now, so all right, society has screwed us over. The return of investment doesn't seem to be worth it, and so you want to work less hard. And so if you want to work less hard, eventually you're going to want to stop working altogether. You're going to stop wanting to swing your sword. And then eventually you're either going to smoke it until the end, or you're going to squeeze one off until the end, or you're going to drink it or play video games until the end. And again, I don't blame either one of you who are doing that. I understand. I completely understand. But this is the thing, is that we have these fake gurus online who are trying to tell guys that just go to the gym, pump it up, somehow magically you'll get chicks, magically you get the money. It's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. So the self-improvement movement, it itself is just teaching you how to be the best prisoner ever. Because if the system is a prison, you going to the gym and being healthy, you're the healthiest, buffest prisoner in the system. There's still no escaping it. Everybody is just lean and healthy in their prison cell. But in actuality, everybody's feeling this frustration because they're in a prison cell. So how do you cut through the bars? Do you have to build a community? Because this community building, people don't necessarily want to join anymore because they don't believe that there actually can be a way out. People are now trying to make their prison cell as comfortable as possible. Get the pillows, get the booty bot, get the whatever, the new game, yada yada yada. And again, I don't blame you, but hey man, if you get the booty bot, I mean maybe that's going too far, man. That's going a tad too far. Getting a booty bot, you gotta hold on a minute over there. So in Berserk's case, it's based in reality. A man who's been trying to have stability in his life, basically, right, has now been smashed to pieces. His chance at stability in a normal life, which is Casca, his girlfriend, has been taken from him. His weapon that slashed through so many problems cannot slash through his main problem, which is Griffith. So now, what is he supposed to do? Just like us. Some of us were able to slash through a lot of problems, but now it's like, man, these iron bars seem to be impossible to cut through. Oh, you can cut through them, but when you try to walk through them, you can't. You honestly can't. So it's like, bro, you know, you talk a lot about reality and stuff. How's about you shut the hell up and you do something productive? And how can you do anything productive if there's no return of investment? That's the main problem here. You see, if I was high and drunk, I wouldn't be making this video. I don't like that stuff, right? I don't like that stuff. And Jesus says you gotta be sober, boy. So I don't like that stuff. And so it's like, how do you process then the frustration of being stuck in the prison? Well, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. Honestly, my channel is now shifting into something else. I don't know what it is yet, but honestly, it's like somebody's got to say this. And there are many people saying this, but this overconsumption of content, we're just reading stuff, we're just watching stuff, and we're not actually trying to take stuff from it that we can apply in our real world. That's toxic, man. That's some zombie action. I've seen dudes like rant or scream about Berserk for hours, 3 hours, and it's like, bro, I mean, it's nice that you're so passionate about the thing, but you look like a maniac at this point. What are you doing in your real life? Huh? So that's the thing, like, how many dudes, a lot of dudes have told me now, particularly in the West, that, hey man, I can't afford a house. I'm making minimum wage out here, right? I can't afford a house. How many of these male self-improvement guys actually own a home? Hamza does not own a home. The only guy who owns a house is Andrew Tate, because he made all that money pimping these women. So Hamza doesn't own his own house. First Man doesn't own his own house. A lot of these dudes do not own the place they live in. And if you don't have assets, guess what? You're not technically a man. A man as in the men of old, you're not. I suppose me included. And that is the frustration. You guys, I know a lot of you are frustrated, but you can't identify where the frustration is coming from. It's because you cannot control your own future. That's where it's coming from. The future is not in your hands. It's not. If you don't know that, you will find out. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And so some of us who are not drunk right now, we are experiencing a fight or flight response. I want to fight. And I'm trying to identify here which is the best way to fight back. So I've decided, I'm only thinking about it. It's like, well, man, just try to draw all the time. Yeah, my environment does not allow that for me to be consistent in that. And that's the issue. So, man, that means there's just too many problems for you to do anything, huh? It's like, nigga, tell me about it. It's exactly why people are smoking. because this is me processing my reality of, dude, relax. You can't draw every day because the environment is hostile to you. Why do you think everybody else is smoking drugs right now? Why do you think all your friends are at the liquor store right now? It's because they can't have consistency in what they're trying to do. It's not your fault, bro. Chill. And it's like, okay, I should chill. But here's what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to create more of bloody hell. I want to make it darker and grittier like Berserk. I want to talk more of these things, and I honestly would like some feedback. Not people who are gonna fight me on this and say I'm racist against my own kind. I want people to actually say, dude, you have a point. This whole thing of like, we just have to accept it, that is not manly. That's some gayish. We just have to sit down and take it. Some of you don't want to sit down and take it. Some of you are occupied with your job, which is lucky you. Lucky you that you have a job that takes most of your time. But there are some who are stuck in stagnation, that all they have is their thoughts that is just crippling them, that they are forced then to grab a bottle of Hennessy, right, to switch off the voices in their head. I'm talking to those, because those of you who have a job, right, whether you work at McDonald's or whatever, you're too tired to think. By the time you're done, you just want to watch 2 episodes of your series and go to bed, and it starts again tomorrow, right? When you encounter my video, you want to call me names because you're still stuck in your little pod, and you can't see that you're not going anywhere at all. But there are those who see that, hey man, I don't think I'm going anywhere, and I don't like it. I want to do something about it. Some of you want to power up. You want to power up and blast the Kamehameha wave right through these prison gates. And it's like, let's try. Let's try to do it. Let's try to power up. I have not found the real answer, how to cut through the iron bars of this prison. I want to try. I'm trying to find it. And in the meantime, it's like, try to survive in the prison, right? If all of you are surviving by drinking, hey man, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't blame you. Whatever, do what you can. But as for me and this channel, it's gonna have to change again, because the coffee comics idea, the guy who was helping me with that idea, he disappeared. Nigga let me down. I'm not surprised. I told him that, nigga, I don't trust you because you a nigga, and you gonna let me down. Bro was like, nah man, I'm not like that. I'll never let you down. Disappeared. Completely disappeared, right? So that's another thing. Bros just can't trust each other anymore. But hey, if it is every man for himself, throw me a sensu bean at least. Throw me a sensu bean, I'ma throw you a sensu bean. That's the least we could do for each other. You don't wanna help a nigga up with your hand, fine, throw him a sensu bean. So Berserk, Guts right now in the story is like crushed. What will he do next? We do not know. But hopefully there will be some form of reality, or should I say it will be realistic in how he overcomes this situation of escaping it, right? In our situation, yeah, things look incredibly bleak, but I want to fight. I want to go down fighting. I can't just sit down and take it. I just can't. I just can't. And this is one way for me to expel all this energy that I cannot use in the real world. You know, for those who say, hey man, volunteer. Bro, this is Africa, man. I tried to volunteer. I tried feeding the poor. When I went to the feeding schemes, they told me all the poor people disappeared. And I'm like, so all this food then, where's it gonna go? Guess what? They stole all the food, took it to their families. That is Africa. Corruption 101. So yeah, y'all, it's not that simple. Honestly, it's not. And for those of you who are still like trying to find a companion in this world, go ahead, try. And my little advice as somebody who is married, try to find a girl who is responsible and has a job. And of course, she has to be fluffy and good to be around, and has to be emotionally mature and is not affected by social media and stuff. And some of you might say, nigga, that sounds impossible. Yeah, I don't blame you for saying that. I got lucky. But anyways, for now, let's just try to cut through this prison. I don't know how I'm gonna keep my consistency levels with this, but as I said, this environment is hostile to consistency, but I still am incapable of accepting that. I don't want to accept it. In order for me to accept it, I need like a huge bong of weed in order to accept it. And I don't like weed, right? So what, should I get heroin? That's not gonna help me draw. So I don't know for now, but we gotta cut through this prison. We gotta power up. Somebody throw me a sense of being, please. Until next time.